Yeah, a lot of the talk revolved around women characters in games not being attractive anymore.
Yeah, and when I think about it, I have a very nuanced opinion on it, which is basically, who cares?
The customers do, Greg.
Have these people seen a woman up close before?
Have you? Western devs and journos seem to have this issue with attractive women in games, but Eastern devs do not. Take, for example, the character Black Widow. This is how she is portrayed in the Chinese Marvel Rivals. She looks really good. And this is what she looks like in the American dead game Marvel Avengers. Why are Western devs obsessed with making female characters look worse and less feminine than their human counterpart? In the side-by-side, Marvel Rivals just looks so much better. It's not even close. I also watched PlayStation State of Play last week, and the only game that I got excited for was Tides of Annihilation. I was immediately drawn in because of this stunning female character, and I was taken aback because her design is a big departure from the typical female characters in these modern games. You know what I'm talking about, the overly masculine look in Naughty Dog's new Intergalactic Heretic, whatever it's called, or in Star Wars Outlaws.
She's literally got the haircut of Jason Momoa in the Minecraft movie.
That is so true. Or in Spider-Man 2, or in the new Fable game, or Avowed, or in Concord, RIP. And of course a Chinese studio is making this one because Western studios have become hell-bent on creating these unattractive and unlikable characters, sometimes both at the same time. Now I'll take you through the mass delusions going on in the game industry as well as some gamers. Before I get into it, consider leaving a like and subscribing. It'll make me very happy. The first one is that no one cares what women look like in games, unless you're a gooner. Like this one. Of course it'd be Chinese developers making better looking white women than Western devs. And Roberto says, aka Gooner material for incels like you. Not like I have a problem with the design since they are good, but we all know why people like you make these types of tweets. He says, replying to the tweet that included 2 fully clothed women. There's this weird shaming element to this whole situation that if you appreciate these hot characters, you must be a pervert. Or there's this attitude like, oh, you care if the protagonist is attractive? Like this comment on the trailer. Beautiful protagonist, fantasy setting, fast-paced action combat, I'm beyond sold. And someone replied saying, is beautiful protagonist that important? LOL. And there is a whole host of replies to this person. Yes, it's the cherry. Yes, personally, I don't give a fuck, but when 95% of games are young men, it checks out. Is ugly characters that important to you? Yup, not that DEI BS representation we get from Forspoken and Veilguard. Very, not really, but having ugly AF pro tags like Western AAA is jarring. Yes, 100% yes, and I'm tired of pretending that it's not. And it just goes on and on and on and on. It's like the Eastern studios aren't afraid of doing the unthinkable, which is apparently tempting men. If the men are tempted, who knows what they might do? They might be interested. They might even play the game. No! Marvel Rivals is truly pushing the boundaries, doing what other studios won't do, and even showing a happy heterosexual relationship with white people.
A white man? No!
The only Western games that have come out in the last couple years that have attractive female characters are Baldur's Gate 3 and Kingdom Come Deliverance 2. And I think a big contributing factor to Baldur's Gate 3's success are how attractive the characters are. And there's the delusion that we want to see more average looking people in games. Remember that weird ad a few years ago where this woman says she wants to finally see herself in games and they show this like fat girl character? Like, no, that's not what we want. Uh-oh. Oh. Jeez. It's the most cringe shit I've seen in my entire life. 74% of girls are obese, apparently, according to Dove. Then there's this idea that women get insecure and jealous and hate seeing beautiful women, but no, that is so patronizing. Like, we are all just walking around being bitter and jealous at every good-looking woman. It could not be further from the truth. We like seeing other women look good. We want to live vicariously through them. There is a reason why most pop stars with a majority female audience, like Sabrina Carpenter and Taylor Swift, are very attractive. We enjoy seeing them. We want to be them. And when I see good-looking people in games, it draws me in. I want to learn more about it. That's what made me interested in Baldur's Gate 3 originally. And that's why my personal most anticipated game right now is Stellar Blade on PC. You get to wear cute outfits, be hot, and fight people. What more could you want? But even still, these games have a vast majority male audience, so why are they trying to cater to the small female audience here? And I don't have a great answer to this. It's super weird. It's like they don't want to admit that they have a mostly male audience, or they don't realize who their audience is, or the darkest option here, and I think might be the right answer, they actually have contempt for their audience and don't want to give them what they want? I don't really know.
Very nuanced opinion on it, which is basically, who fucking cares? Have these people seen a woman up close before? What the fuck are we talking about, everybody?
Back in the 2000s and 2010s, most of these games' protagonists were these badass, good-looking guys like Ezio Auditore and John Marston, because the majority male audience can relate to them and live vicariously through them. And I liked them too. Assassin's Creed 2 and Red Dead Redemption 1 and 2 are some of my favorite games of all time, and I love these main characters. But there's definitely been a shift in the type of characters these modern Western games use, and a lot of them are using female protagonists instead of male, but then taking the femininity out of them. And what you're left with is this androgynous slop with zero aura. It's like they think feminine women can't be strong and badass, so they have to make them more manly and unattractive, which is another insane thing to think about. It's like these developers just don't think highly of women themselves. And it's like they think that hot, feminine women have no agency and are not smart. I mean, who are the real misogynists here? Veilguard and Star Wars Outlaws are prime examples. Tosh is like the epitome of a modern audience slop character that's unattractive, unappealing, and unlikable. And with Concord, just why did they think this was a good idea? Characters that you play as need to be characters that the audience wants to be, not the usual rabble they would see at Walmart. Another delusion out there about hot female characters is that they are too unrealistic and that women don't actually look like this, apparently. I'd say women don't actually look like this. In each of these cases, they've made their character models worse than the actual humans they were based off of. And in the case of Stellar Blade, Eve is based off of a real woman. And in the case of Marvel Rivals, Sue Storm's ass is based off of this real model's ass. And the games industry is one of the only ones that blame their own customers for their own abysmal performance. But take something in a completely different industry like Dunkin' Donuts. Their customers want sugary coffees, so they have ads with sugary coffees. And then they will serve the customers coffees with 20 sugars and 13 pumps of caramel. It's just what the customer wants, and they give it to them. It's not that complicated. But at this point, there's been so much modern audience slop in games that seeing good-looking characters are actually green flag that the rest of the game will be good too. If they have actually taken the time to have an attractive character design that the vast majority of the audience wants, it's pretty likely that the game will have even more of what the audience wants. But I think these devs underestimate just how important it is to have attractive characters in games. And let's just take a quick look at Baldur's Gate 3's Steam stats compared with Veilguard's real quick. Ooh, yikes. When I see characters that are just giving modern audience, I pretty much just check out. Like, there is no part of me that was interested in Avowed, and apparently I'm not the only one that felt this way. Who asked for these furries with mustaches and these weird plant people, and the women have this weird androgynous modern audience look to them? Like, no thanks. Let's just take a look at how the general public feels about these games with these ugly female characters just by looking at the YouTube like-dislike ratio. Yikes, 73,000 likes with 185,000 dislikes. And they have also turned the comments off here too. Course. We can also see Fable with 26,000 likes and 63,000 dislikes. And back to the original question I posed before, who are these characters for? Because it's not for women. We all know they're not for men. And the crazy thing is that the vast majority of the gaming audience in general are men. These characters are not helping to sell your game. They are something to be tolerated, but they're not the reason people are buying. I actually do have some hope for the future of games. I think there's a tiny chance that some Western developers might get the hint that we want attractive characters. Concord got shut down after 2 weeks. The Veilguard and Star Wars Outlaws were massive flops. Avowed at the time of this video getting made is not having great player numbers on Steam, so hopefully the message is getting across that we deserve better. With the absolute massive success of Marvel Rivals, which I think is partly due to the amazing character designs, I think Blizzard might actually be finally starting to get it.
For them to release what I'd call an attractive white character in Overwatch 2, you know they're sweating right now. You know they are really feeling the heat. And where are they feeling this heat from? Well, of course, it's from Marvel Rivals. Okay, they're getting absolutely curb stomped by Marvel Rivals, and it's not even close.